One of the most daunting parts of the home buying process is saving for a down payment. Do you need 20%? Can you get away with less? Let's talk about it. The down payment, for anyone that isn't sure, is the upfront payment that you make when you're buying a house. We always hear this number 20%, but do you really need 20%? Most lenders don't require that. According to the National Association of Realtors, in 2022, first-time homebuyers put down an average of 6% on a down payment, while repeat buyers put down 17% on a down payment. So what's magic about 20%? Where does that number come from? If your down payment is 20% or higher, you don't have to pay PMI, or primary mortgage insurance. This is an insurance that protects your lender if you default on the loan. So it's really money that, in a sense, you're throwing away because it doesn't protect the buyer at all. Even though 20% is that magic number, it isn't realistic for a lot of home buyers. Even if people have that money, they often don't want to tie it all up in the house. So before we talk about actual numbers, let me tell you about a few basics that play into it. Number one, having a bigger down payment may help you get a better interest rate. The higher your down payment is, the less money you're borrowing from the lender and the less the risk is to the lender. Number two, the more money you put down, the less money you have to borrow, which means your monthly mortgage payment will likely be a bit lower, and that's a win for every buyer. Number three, a larger down payment often sweetens the deal for a seller. It gives the seller the idea that this buyer can really afford the house and gives them less trepidation about financing approval having any issues. In a multiple offer situation, that can really be a winning factor. So what do you really need? For a conventional loan, a 3 to 5% down payment is typical. With a higher credit score, you may be able to have a smaller down payment, but it's typically in that ballpark. For an FHA loan, which is a government-backed loan, 3.5% is typical, but the lower your credit score, the higher that down payment will typically be. Is there ever a time that no down payment is needed? Yes. With VA loans and USDA loans, you often have a situation where there's no down payment required. However, with both of those loan types, there are very specific criteria needed to qualify for the loan. There are other scenarios to consider as well. If you're buying a second home or an investment property, the down payment is typically higher, 7 to 10%. And you can't use an FHA, VA, or USDA loan to buy a second property. For those that find the idea of gathering a down payment daunting, there are down payment assistance programs. They're typically available for first-time home buyers and are provided through government agencies or private organizations. That's really something that you need to talk to a lender about to get more information on the qualifications. Down payment options are typically very specific to your situation. So how do you know what your options are? Your best bet is to talk to a trusted lender. If you don't know a lender, I'd love to refer you to one of my lender partners. And if I can answer any other questions about real estate or about DFW in general, please reach out. You can find all of my contact information in the description below.